sciences. Research which is conducted in isolation from other sciences may not have the complete answers, and I'll come to that in a moment. But I just want to make a point that in my discussion with my Vulcan friend, who says science is everything, I mentioned to him that technology existed before science. That actually most of the human inventions preceded human understanding of the principles of science. The wheel was discovered or invented before any understanding of the sciences. Before human civilization compiled, collated, and built the store of knowledge of the sciences and the principles of science, it was technology. And it was actually technology that created civilization, not science. But embedded in technology would be some of the principles of science. Modern science, of course, can supersede technology, but that's something to think about. The relationship between science and technology, and also how in modern day civilization, maybe the sciences could be ahead of technology. So that brings us to the debate about applied science and basic sciences and investment on the two. And our being enamored now by research, innovation, and commercialization. Once we get into that mode, then we get confused over the relationship between basic sciences and applied sciences, and much more that we do not understand about the sciences. There are many universities which have gone along the track of interdisciplinary research, interdisciplinary research, multidisciplinary research, and transdisciplinary research. The University of McGill prides itself in bringing together for their environmental program people from the biological sciences, environmental science, engineering science, etc., to have their programs, their various kinds of degree programs. Multidisciplinarity is almost a dirty word for those steeped in the core disciplines who refuse to cross into other disciplines. But one of the questions under the Malaysian Qualifications Authority audit program is, does your institution foster multidisciplinarity? It's the same question which exists in many of the qualifications authorities formulated in other countries. In the engineering sciences, it is possible to cross between mechanical, chemical, electrical engineering, and then to go beyond into some other sciences. So multidisciplinarity is a way forward in research. But multidisciplinarity is not just between the applied and the basic sciences, but it crosses into the social sciences. I mentioned earlier, and we were talking about Jeffrey Zane as a copy of James Bond, and James Bond is copied by so many other movies within the British tradition, American tradition, Western tradition, and there are many Russian movies which are also copies of James Bond, but all the time would be the relationship between invention, innovation, and imitation. Invention, innovation, and imitation. In research too, there are imitative research. Imitative research could be replication of research. But research can also be innovative when it is technological. And when it is in the realm of invention, then we cross over the various boundaries. I have actually so far, ladies and gentlemen, in very narrative fashion, moved from one topic to another, but they are all interrelated, to emphasize a point which I made earlier, that we have not seen research in integrated terms. I submit that we have not also looked at research in longitudinal perspectives. In the social sciences and humanities, the dominance of sociology very often make us focus on the here and now. And also in the disciplines of politics and public policy, etc., is always the here and now. But in the humanities, we have the interesting genre of ensuring continuity, where the past, the present, and the future overlap. Longitudinal research, not just cross-sectional research. But there's another part to research, because research is not just about phenomena. Research is about people. It's about people doing the research. Our first generation of university leaders, Professor Uku Aziz, his greatest research was the Sarong Index. When he was thinking of wealth and poverty, he conceptualized, among other things, the Sarong Index as a measure of wealth or poverty. But Uku Aziz did something else. He studied rural economics, and he saw that school children during school assemblies would always collapse early in the morning. They don't have food. They suffer from all kinds of diseases, including worms, all kinds of worms. And because of his research, the government came up with what is known as the Amalan Makanan dan Pemakanan, which has been implemented in other countries, including in Britain. Food program. Before his research, there was no such thing as free food for students. But after his research, then his research had impact on policy, where the policy was formulated, the poor students would be given free food. So research may not have direct implication on the citizenry, on the clients, on products and services, but research very often has implications on policies. So there's this part of research which has to do with policy, but there's also another part of research which has to do with reflection. The reflection of a researcher who are among the most privileged of humans for being able to master a corpus of knowledge which other people have not mastered or do not master. typically, those who do doctoral research, typically, they are measured on two criteria. One, the criteria that they are dealing with phenomenon never dealt before by any other researcher. Second, that they are putting together the insights and the body of knowledge that have not been